Thank you for staying with us. Despite complaints of inadequate funding, Nigerian universities are still making their mark on the global scene. The latest World University Rankings by the Times Higher Education shows that several universities in the country made it to the top 1,600 universities worldwide. This ranking is regarded as the largest and most diverse university ranking. Among the universities that made the top lists are University of Ibadan, University of Lagos, Covenant University, Bayero University, Kano, Federal University of Technology, Akure, University of Benin, University of Ilorin, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Obafemi Awolowo University, and the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. These universities have succeeded in raising the bar for others to follow despite meager resources. Joining us now is Professor Peter Okebukola, Chairman, Nigerian Universities Ranking Advisory Committee and Professor of Science and Computer Education from the Lagos State University. Good morning. It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, Professor Mashere.
All right. Let's begin with your impressions of this ranking. There are those who have said that over time, the world rankings have not been fair to African and perhaps Nigerian universities. But what are your impressions, seeing the situation we have in the country?
First, let me thank you for asking me to be here before the rankings just released. I thank Professor Mashere for that wonderful session we had. And we went to New York exactly a month ago, yes, when the results were released. And just about 2 weeks ago, the rankings for the subjects were released. And we did very well. You're asking about my impression. My impression is that we got God's blessings on our efforts because we did work hard. As you said, in spite of the challenges, in spite of limitations of funding and several other challenges that we know we have the potentials. So my impression is that just giving some little pep, some little motivation will outsmart as many universities in the world as possible. So my overall impression is that, yes, we have a great country here, and all we need is to get the enabling environment, the climate, the environment that will make all the metrics for letting us to rank better, research, teaching, community engagement, to do very well. I must say that when these results were released in New York, it was a world summit. All the countries were there. At the Times Higher Education people singled Nigeria out. It was very heartwarming for us. For the delegation of Nigeria, we stood up proud.
What did they say?
Oh, they said Nigeria is the country that made the most gain from the previous year, for the 2022 ranking to 2023. Because the rankings you just read out are rankings for 2023.
Yes.
So there have been also an applause for us. So my impression, again, to summarize, is that I'm happy. And Nigerians are happy.
This is an irony. This thing was taking place when our university system is in paralysis.
I will go when we further look into this.
What's interesting is too that you turned out to be a prophet, because the last time we talked,
yes,
we had only 4
that
we were talking about.
Yes, now we have 12.
We have 12.
Yes.
We have 12. And we have 48 in one way or the other.
Yes,
can you break that down for us?
I'll break it down. You see, over 30,000 universities in the world. To be eligible to be ranked, there are certain parameters. The primary one is that your total citations for the university must not be less than 1,000. So all those universities...
When you say citations...
Yeah, citations, okay, fine. Now, as I explained the last time,
some people don't know what citation is.
Oh yes, we're going to enjoy ourselves today. Now you have 10 staff in the university. You do your research and you publish, and somebody else cites your research. Meaning that you can't cite your research if it's mediocre. You cite your research if it is useful to the world or to the whatever context. So when it's cited, it is noted. Noted by some platforms like Scopus, like Google Scholar. They will note it. Oh, this article is cited. So when in a year you sum up, okay, let's take myself for instance. Assume I'm in a university with 10 staff, academic staff in this case. I have a total of 5 citations. You have a total of 20 citations for the year. Citation, as I said, is people citing you.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So you have 30. He has 48. The man's book is making waves. Yeah. He has and then we sum up everything for the entire university. If the citations for that year come up to be 1,000, that's the threshold. If you get over 1,000, then you are eligible to be ranked.
Right.
So when all the 1,000, those who are crossed the threshold, now come into that pot, then you now apply some other metrics. Their reputation, the proportion of international content, international students, international staff, and several other things. So when your performance on those criteria, which you call metrics or synonymous, they call indicators,
yes,
your scores are totaled. And on the base of that total, the people or the institutions in the pot are now ranked. From 1 to, actually this last one, about just a little bit short of 1,800 universities got into the ranking sphere. Actually 1,799. So you just put all of them together, apply all the metrics, what they have scored, total, sigma the thing, and then rank them. So that's what happened. And they were curious, well, not curious, delighted that Nigeria, last year, you had, just like you said, just 5. And this year, we had 12. And then the reporter category institutions are those that are near the 1,000 mark. Very near the 1,000 mark.
Which means we have others that are...
Oh, yes. Oh, you just wait for it. I'm going to prophesy again. Forecasting is a forecast.
We'd like to hear that prophecy.
No, you get the forecast, because we have
okay,
all the instruments for the forecasting.
Okay.
So when these other 45, they're working hard to get up to 1,000. And how do you work hard? Other than do your research and publish in outlets or platforms or journals that are internationally renowned, not the roadside ones. Because, if you publish the roadside journal, the visibility is low. So people outside there cannot see it and then be able to cite you. So all glory to God. I tell you, all glory to God for making this to happen.
Now, what we find there is that we have one private university.
Oh, yes, Covenant.
Now in a Covenant
university. Yes.
What does that tell us, really? Because everybody wants to take their child to school now. They say, oh, I want you to go to this private, I don't want to mention them. I want you to go to that one in that private. Yes. No, I don't want you to go to Ibadan. I don't want to go to Ife. I don't want you to go to... In fact, I had one conversation yesterday of somebody who is trying to kill himself to pay school fees here. I said, look, we have all these universities that are not even charging you anything, and you are trying to kill yourself to take your child to an expensive school and so on. What is happening? Is it that these universities, Lagos, Ibadan, Ife, Nsukka, and all that, they are still the best we have, and there's too much noise about the private? Or is it that the private universities are still hiding under the bushel?
No hiding under the bushel. You see, if you look at the top 20 universities in the world, 75% of them are privately owned. 75% in the world.
Yes.
You see, the private university setting gives you, first, the number of students is little. So teacher-student ratio is tolerable. Yeah, it's tolerable. And then the staff are, in quotes now, better policed. I'm just using that phraseology, better policed. So you can't go to, let me mention some university. You can't go to Covenant University and just be lazing around as a lecturer. You got to earn your money.
accountable.
But in some public universities, you can say, okay, no, I'm not available on Monday, that's timetabled, my students come on. So the discipline is weaker in the public university system in Nigeria, and that's the truth, because I've been a regulator.
Yeah.
Now, in the private universities, you are paying me 300,000 naira for my child, or I'm paying you 300,000 naira for my child to read economics in your private university. Oh my goodness, you got to give me value for my money. But in a public university, tuition is free, so you can get that scenario. In our own case here, what I've found is that those private universities that are doing very well, and I mentioned them, Covenant University, #1 in the Times Higher Education rankings. Now, let me also digress slightly and let you know that there are quite a number of global ranking schemes.
Yes.
Times Higher Education is highly regarded, and it has a number of streams. One is the Times Higher Education World University Rankings.
Yes.
The other, also in the same stable as Times Higher Education, is Times Higher Education Impact Rankings.
Yes.
The Impact Rankings focus on how the university is able to move its operation for the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
The #1 Webometrics, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm looking at the Times Higher Education. Then you have the Webometrics ranking, you have the Clarivate ranking, you have the AD Scientific, and you have all of those. You see, for the private universities in Nigeria, the #1, as we have it today, is Covenant University on the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. On the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings is Afebaola University.
I was going to ask about
No,
it.
so why are we having it like that? We're having it like that because of the stimulus for the staff of those universities and for the governance of the universities and for the operations, general operations of the university to focus on delivering on their mandate. Mandate of quality, mandate of research, mandate of all of these things. So that is showing up. And you also have a regime of better funding for research, motivation for staff in these universities. Covenant University, if you publish in a highly reputed journal, that university gives there's a reward system. You know, they give you something to support your research further and all of that. But you hardly incentive, so they are incentivized. So you hardly have these in many public universities.
Why is
now,
that
back, if you don't mind, ma. Now, let me now look at Ibadan, Lagos, and these other ones. See, they are populated by very knowledgeable, experienced professors. So they are carrying all those glory.
Yes.
And that is impacting. But these younger ones, the newer private universities are coming up and sprinting. So they are going to overtake all the Usain Bolts of this one.
So you are saying now that the old ones
Yes.
are still living on old glory.
Yes, old glory as a major plank for their leverage.
Yes.
But you have some other support for them, TED Fund
Yes.
and others. If you have TED Fund supporting the privite universities, they will overtake them quicker than we
Then
have.
they will no longer be private.
I was going to ask.
Okay, that's another story.
I was going to ask
Yes.
why it's seemingly difficult to get the kind of support in public universities that you have mentioned that we see in private universities. Why it's so difficult? Why successive governments haven't seen the need to show the necessary support for the public universities such that they can thrive, like you pointed out?
Yeah, it's a very simple answer. The amount of money that's available to a public university, let me take Professor Mashere to be a public university, and if you don't mind, you to private university. I pay to you, or students pay to you, pay in some cases 3 million naira for a program, to do a Bachelor of Laws program in your university. There, in this university, nothing, free. So vice chancellor of this public university has limitation, huge limitation of funds.
Funding, yeah.
Look, while I was executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, we had to subvent the public universities. We pay the salaries, we get the money from the federal government. And the money, Ibadan, we pay the salaries, we pay all of this, some little money for capital development, and very little for running costs. So you see, it's from the running cost that the vice chancellor will now have to do the incentivization, will have to do all of this. So the amount of money that's available in the public university system is scant compared to the private. The private universities
They have leverage.
They have leverage on account of the funding volume that they have. So if today, you're talking about the federal government doing that, if today the federal government decides that, oh yes, we are going to turn the equation of funding, let's have stakeholders support. I'm now moving into a realm or a very murky water of tuition.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, Ibadan, you are not going to charge anything. But we are going to, well, it's more complicated than I'm saying it. You see, if we are able to decide that Ibadan, all the students coming to you, they are going to pay tuition. Then Ibadan Vice Chancellor or Lagos or BUK or ABU will have a lot more money. But in the same breath, we are not saying that Ibadan students should pay the money. We are saying government, if you say that don't pay anything in Ibadan, then that government should be able to pay Ibadan Vice Chancellor the cost of training the students. So that money has to come in there.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, we need to quickly go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at university rankings, and we still have in the studio Professor Peter Okebukola, Chairman, Nigerian Universities Ranking Advisory Committee, speaking to us on this development. While we were on the break, we were having a conversation on the fact that we have there seemed to be a leap in the number of universities that have joined this number of university rankings. How we're able to get that from what the previous number was and what it is now.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. There's no magic here. We just had God blessing our efforts. And what are our efforts? About a year ago, the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Damorashid, felt concerned that Nigerian universities are not getting well ranked. And he put a paper across to the Minister of Education, Madam Adamu Adamu, for the setting up of the Nigerian Universities Ranking Advisory Committee, which, well, I was asked to chair. Nigerian Universities Ranking Advisory Committee, NURAC. That's what I'm going to be referring to it from now, NURAC. NURAC is peopled by former vice chancellors. And there are 6 former vice chancellors in NURAC covering the 6 geopolitical zones. For instance, Professor Olanrewaju Adigunfagbo covers the Southwest, was vice chancellor of LASU. And the others, different vice chancellors. So the NURAC then decided that we should have the same kind of configuration in the universities. So all universities, the Executive Secretary directed all universities to set up their own universities ranking advisory committees,
Right.
URAC. Actually, 14 months ago. So you had all universities having like a deputy vice chancellor chair the local committee.
Yes.
You had the director of academic planning, director of ICT, and a very powerful team there. So what's the charge? What's the charge of NURAC, the national one, and the URACs? The charge is that from the executive secretary, my friends, by 2030, at least 10 Nigerian universities should be among the top 10. That was a very steep charge. So what did we do? We then mobilized the entire Nigerian university community, and we developed a strategic plan. Strategic plan 2020-2030.
Right.
And we said, no, not only times higher education, we want to be visible and rank well on all the ranking indicators, all the ranking schemes. So we set up working groups from all Nigerian universities for times higher education, world university rankings, times higher education, impact rankings, AD Scientific, Webometrics, Clarivate. We set them up like that. Yeah. For 3 full months, we were busy working on the strategic plan. And we developed a strategic plan, took it to government, and government approved of it. And we started implementing. So for a whole year, we were busy with workshops. First, we determined where we were. We look at our planning assumptions, and we determined where we were for all of these ranking schemes. And we said, okay, we are here now. We want to be, in 2023, we want to be here for all of them. Did you know that today we have overshot our aspiration for 2023? And what went on? What was intervention? Intervention was every university, everybody were mobilized for all the metrics, the 13 metrics for times higher education world university rankings were mobilized. And we did everything. Workshops, practices, encouraging our colleagues, okay, do some good research, publish your research in reputable journals, and that is paying off.
So what this creates, is a sense of internal competitiveness.
That's what it is.
Even within departments.
Oh, yes.
That, okay, was your article cited? Was your own not cited? And there was this competitiveness in Nobel Prize in the University of Chicago Economics when you have Milton Friedman there. Yeah. When anybody won, if you won a Nobel Prize, it was like, okay, oh, you joined us. It's not as if everybody will come and celebrate you like, okay, you're just joining us. So you didn't win before. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you see, the whole thing is like wanting to go to a world competition, World Cup, like football. When you have your local league, then the local league will stimulate competition and will bring the best in you. That is what has been happening. I actually did send you the
yes, I saw it.
Oh, yeah. Yes. You see, we're working hard.
Yes, all the projections.
All the projections.
Yes.
So, and happily, we just didn't project. We had to put how much it will cost, who will do what, and all of that on a monthly basis. So that's what we have been doing.
But don't you think that there's supposed to be special funding towards by the federal government,
yes, that is there.
Even private sector.
That is
yes,
there.
It's there too.
Is there.
To stimulate.
Is there.
To stimulate this kind of momentum, because what it does eventually is that it does not only make the professor alert, the brilliance of the professor also goes down to the students who are also motivated by the brilliance.
You got it.
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah. So it's kind of chain benefits along the line.
Yeah, that's
I have this question. In this list, we found a school like Bayero University coming up in the north. And that seems to be the only school, if I see in the north, that has come up. We didn't see Ahmadu Bello, this University of Jos. We didn't see some of these University of Sokoto, some of these schools that we thought that will be doing well. Are they on the cusp, or have they not totally bought into this momentum?
Yes, they are buying into the momentum. They are the cusp. They are among the, some of the ones you mentioned are among the reporter category, and the reporter category. Okay. So they are moving. We have designed a special intervention for a number of these universities, like Ahmadu Bello University and the others you mentioned. And I tell you, in a little while will be by 2024 rankings, it will be a different story for them, positive story. You see, the one that was released now is 2023.
Yes.
By 2024, it's going to be different. And indeed, Times Higher Education has recalibrated its metrics.
Okay.
Completely different now. We're not completely, but in some major areas, it has been transformed. And it's now called WUR, that's World University Rankings 3.0. So a number of the metrics like reputation, like research, international component of the university, have been tweaked in some form.
Tweaked in what way?
Oh yeah, I tell you. Let's take reputation. Reputation was earned maximum of 20% in the 2023. By 3.0, it's going to be 30%. And what's reputation? Reputation is how your university is rated by others in terms of the quality of teaching, quality of your graduates, quality of your research. That's gone on to 30%. Yeah. Then there's what is known as in the research category, the kilo author papers. Kilo author papers are papers, you see, if I author an article with Prof. Omaseye, it will be Omaseye and Okebukola, or Okebukola and Omaseye. That's two of us.
Yes.
It can be 3, it can be 4, but there are some papers that are authored by over 1,000. One paper, over 1,000. Especially in medicine, you know, that 1,000, all over the world. You're collecting your data from all over the world, 1,000 kilo author papers. By the 2023 scheme, the kilo author papers were awarded for every author the same mark in your different universities. But it's been recalibrated for 2023.0 to say, oh, no. We can't give all of you the same mark in all your universities. So that has been prorated in some form. And then you have in 3.0 a metric that will measure industry impact and industry contribution.
Exactly.
How has your university impacted on the industry and on society? How has industry contributed, just like we were saying, contributed to the growth of your university? So that's another metric. So what have we done? We're going back to our drawing board and looking at the recalibrated metrics, and we're going to work towards making this to be improved, yes.
What are your projections now? Perhaps your prophecy for the 2024.
Yes, see, for 2024, by God's grace, God keeping us, by 2024 rankings, at least 10 Nigerian universities. Now we have 12 of them, two in the upper band of about 300.
Yes, that is
Lagos and Ibadan. Lagos is first. Yeah. So by next year, God keeping us, and we're going to come back here, and we're going to celebrate it. But if my prophecy comes true, and I think it will, that we're going to have at least 5, and that's in our strategic plan, that we're going to have at least 8 Nigerian universities. We had 2 now for this year. Just for next year, we're going to have at least 8 of them in that top band. Yeah.
Do you feel that some of them are really challenged when they saw their, from your own, interaction and feelers?
Yes.
That some of them feel really humiliated by some of these universities feel humiliated by either their position or their non-inclusion.
Yeah, that's the overall idea.
Yeah.
For that humiliation to stimulate action.
Yes.
And we can see action being stimulated all around. In fact, we came back from New York and we convened a national meeting of everybody. And people who didn't do well warned us that, wait, gentlemen, next year you're going to see what's going to happen. So, and those who did well say, oh, you didn't want to outsmart us? No, it's not going to happen. So that's the kind of healthy competition that's engendering, and that's causing ripples of action to happen in the Nigerian university system. And we're quite happy about that.
So how about the strategy? Perhaps you could speak to us on that, leading up to the 2024.
Yes, that's it. You see, leading up to 2024, we have strategies for the 5 global ranking schemes. For the World University Rankings by Times, we are working hard in modifying our operations for the 3.0, the new model.
Yeah, okay.
For the impact rankings of tertiary education, we are, ensuring that our universities work hard towards making their impact on the SDGs.
Yeah.
For the AD Scientific, see, the AD Scientific is unique. It only focuses on your Google Scholar citation. Google Scholar is a citation index where, over the last 5 years, it will measure how many scholars have cited you. How many scholars have cited you? At least 10 times. Not just citing you. There's one each index. It's just citing you. But how many have cited you 10 times? So if you have an article that at least 10 people have cited all over the world, it has a measure. So that's what AD Scientific does. So what we have, the strategy now is to get our professors especially, and our senior lecturers, all the scholars in the Nigerian university system, to enroll in Google Scholar. Some of them are not. So they are under the radar. So when they all come, look, we have almost like 13,000 full professors in the Nigerian university system. By the time they all have that commitment to enroll in Google Scholar, which is free, or Scopus, which is free, to be a different story. So that's the strategy.
So what we are talking about is actually mobilization of the academics.
Oh, yes. That's what it is, mobilization,
Right. Yeah. We have to leave the conversation here now, but it's been an interesting and insightful one thus far. We must thank you, Professor Peter Okebukola, Chairman, Nigerian University's Ranking Advisory Committee, NURAC, for your time on the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Always a delight to be here. So we're looking forward to when that forecast will